The next man on the docket might be dead because that's how long he was in the NFL for. We have a second-team All-Pro 1 year, a 5-time Pro Bowler, and has the NFL record for the most games by a running back. The one and only Frank Gore from 05 to 2020. I feel like we've been getting, you know what, we'll throw it over to you, Wally, and have you start and have David.
It's nice. It's nice to get to start one of these.
All right. So, David, why don't you already go ahead with the argument? We're done. That's enough malarkey.
I was going to say, I'll lean into the heel movement. I'll put the bad guy cape on. Because that's what I am. That's who I am today, is I get to be the bad guy saying, no, you don't get to come to the party. That's who I am. I'm the mean mom that has a number for your birthday party, and you can't invite the whole class.
Why not mean dad? Why would you automatically just...
I'm in pink tonight. Respect.
Okay.
I love it.
So, for Frank Gore, the argument's going to be obvious. Longevity, third most career rushing yards. I get that, and I get the other point. I think of the 16 guys, top rushers of all time, I think he's the only one with Adrian Peterson that's not in the Hall of Fame, and naturally AP will get in when he does get there. I hear that. Now, this is where it gets fun.
Boy.
You mentioned, Steven, he only had one All-Pro, and it was second team. He had 5 Pro Bowls in all those years. He only had 3 seasons with top 10 yards per carry, 7th and 3rd in his first 2 seasons. After that, he had 1. In the next 14 years, he was top 10 in yards per carry. He came in 3rd in the rushing title in 2006, but after that, he had 5 other top 10s, but none better than 6. There were 3 9s and a 10th. He only had 10 rushing touchdowns 1 time in his career, exactly 10. He had the 3rd most rushing yards per game, next best in his career, 9th for his for 16 years. Only the 1 All-Pro, like I said, and it was second team in his best season, his second year in 2006. His big stat, most games played by a running back. That's a big one. But it's also a little damning when you go to this next one where he retired. If he retired after 10 years, are we going to say that he's in? Would we say that if he retired after 10 years?
He had 9 1,000-yard seasons in 10 years. Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah. Do you have the stats, Wally?
I do have the stats.
Sorry, do you have your homework?
I was going to say, this is what's frustrating about the 1,000-yard argument, because not all 1,000-yard seasons are created equal. And Frank Gore
my God. How are they not created equal? You have to get to the top rushing yard statistics somehow.
We're talking like 60 yards a game, man. Again,
the
all these stats, he wasn't top
attempts.
10 almost at any point in these. My whole point is that even after that 10th season we played, he never averaged over 4 yards a carry, except the one time, which was the second fewest rushes in his career. 4.0.
That's not true. That is not true.
Yes, it is true.
He averaged over 4.5 yards per carry early on in his career, the last 5 years.
You gotta use your ears, David. I'm talking about the last 6 seasons.
Oh yeah, the last 6 seasons where he averaged 3.7, and oh, by the way, that means the first 10 seasons or 9 seasons he averaged 4.8 yards per carry, because that's how statistics work. You go 6 years where you're so bad that it drops his total down to 4.3.
But what you fail to ignore or listen to what I said earlier, he was top 10 3 times in his career for yards per carry. 3 times.
Oh my.
And one of those years, by the way, 126 rushes. That was his rookie year. He was never elite. Just like Matt Ryan, he was just always very good. Now, if we want to put him in for longevity, that's fine. It's the one that I'm most comfortable at least saying I'd be okay with.
What's your argument
we're putting
Adrian
him in.
Peterson? Adrian Peterson hasn't been good in 6 years too. And
no, but the difference is that Adrian Peterson's peak was 10 times what Frank Gore's was. And we're going to not put them both into the same Hall of Fame? Frank Gore is not the same running back as those guys in the Hall of Fame. Eddie George, Fred Taylor, Corey Dillon, Roger Craig, Otis Anderson, all should be in before him.
Fred Taylor? No, absolutely not. You're outside your mind. You're living in fantasy land. You're living in the heyday.
Put any of them in before.
Oh my God, get out of here. The top 15 running backs in career yardage are in the Hall of Fame outside of AP and Frank Gore. Frank Gore is third all time. He's third all time. Leaders in attempts, Number 1, Emmitt Smith. Number 2, Walter Payton. Number 3, Frank Gore. Number 4, Curtis Martin, who really wasn't an efficient runner, but he just ran a lot and he ran hard. Jerome Bettis, AP. All right, leaders in yards, follows the attempts almost to a T, except for 4. You get Barry Sanders, who was a freak of nature, who didn't have a lot of attempts, but had a boatload of yards. All right, so literally top 3 in attempts, top 3 in yards, and the 5th position in attempts and yards, all aligned equally. Like, you don't, I don't get it.
Again, it's longevity.
Okay,
good for him. He played forever. Good for him.
Great, I agree. And we're talking about running backs today as if they don't matter because they can't play forever. So now that we've established that Frank Gore is different because he played so many years, which, oh, by the way, was only 1 more year than Emmitt Smith and 1 more year than AP. And his last year, he got like 200 yards. Go ahead, just wipe out that last year. I don't even care because it doesn't matter. Even without the final year, he still should be in the Hall of Fame. And I was fringe on Frank Gore until I really saw just how consistently great he was over time.
Consistently good.
You don't get to 3rd all time at a position by being
without being consistently
he should
good.
Be in the Hall of Fame for that alone. 3rd all time.
Literally,
3rd all
can
time.
you tell me outside of 2006 what he did? That was so incredible too. That's what I'm waiting for. In 2006, it was a fantastic year. I'll give him that. He deserved everything that he got that year.
Oh my God.
Outside of that, what did he? Like, I'm serious. Can somebody help me?
Consistently
What am I looking
great
at?
for
I'm
10
like searching.
years. For 10 years.
I'm looking at this sheet. I can't find anything.
Oh my God. That's because you wouldn't let in. I mean, shit. I'm surprised you'd let in Peyton Manning. 2 Super Bowls. What else did he do? What else?
Sheriff.
What else?
Why wouldn't the hall monitor want the sheriff in? He's the head hall monitor.
You're outside your mind. He played 10 years at an extremely high level.
His second highest rushing season was 12-14.
I don't care.
Is that Hall of Fame?
It's 9 years of 1,000 yards rushing.
It's longevity. If we're putting him in for longevity, again, I wash my hands. Pontius Pilate. Not my problem. Not my monkey, not my circus.
Oh my God.
But if we're saying 1,200 yards is Hall of Fame, then that's fine.
If he retired after 9 years, you'd put him in because he got 1,000 yards a season.
We're going to have Peyton Hillison before.
Oh my God!
Oh, you're outside.
See, that's where you draw the comparisons. They're just so ludicrous. You can make the argument about longevity, but they make the argument to play 4 more years. If you're not getting the same amount of attempts as these guys that are, then what's the longevity conversation even going to be about? Frank Gore.
Where's Cadillac Williams?
He didn't play. That's the thing. These are. Oh my God! He should be in the Hall of Fame because he played for that long at running back.
And that's fine. Like I said, if we're putting him in for longevity, that's fine. It's just we better just acknowledge that we're setting precedents again.
I am putting him in. I'm making this statement.
That's fine.
Because while he was in there in his whole career, not only his career, but just that 05 to 20. He's first in attempt, first in yards, fourth in touchdowns, second in receiving yards for running backs, and third in receiving yards for running back, as well as the 5th for reception touchdowns. But you also can't penalize the man for not having enough Pro Bowls during that borderline
He's 5th in reception touchdowns.
During his span. 05 to 20.
Okay, sorry, I was confused there.
But
okay, that makes sense.
You also have to realize this was being drafted or being honored as a Pro Bowl running back then. It's the equivalent of all these guys getting snubbed in the NBA All-Star. There's just not enough spots. I mean, you got the LTs of the world. You got like the tail ends of Larry Johnson. You got Sean Alexander.
How many did they put
AP.
in a year? Isn't it 3?
Yeah.
Then that means that he was a top 3 in his conference running back 5 times. I'm just saying. Who
was in there? Adrian Peterson. You probably had Clinton Portis in there with the Skins.
He wasn't that great either. He was always banged up. I doubt he ever had stats as good as this.
Throw him up.
Well, keep thinking more. Who else are we talking about? Are we talking NFC then in that stretch? I guess what? You'd probably have... It wouldn't be as good, I guess, but Jonathan Stewart
you had one-hit wonders
Williams.
like Larry Johnson. You had one-hit wonders like... I know, but you like all these running backs that like had one-hit... Sean Alexander is
But
unbelievable.
doesn't that say
season.
something that you're top 3 only 5 times in your career?
It'd be like Sean Alexander,
Holy
AP, and there's somebody else.
Sean Alexander had three really good years. He was kind of average.
Only one All-Pro, and it was second team. Again, 1 year with more than 12 or one.
You're right. Because he didn't get 32 rushing touchdowns the year. Sean Alexander and LaDainian Thomas.
Well, he played for 300 years. What about the other 299, David?
Oh my God, you're right. Let's. Emmett Smith sucks because he played for 14 years, and that's why he's the statistical leader.
No, this is where you're manipulating my words. My argument is, yeah, good for him. He was very good for a while. He was never great. He was never elite. 1 year, he was elite. He had one elite year.
He had one elite year, but don't talk to 1,100. Over 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,200, 1,100, 11.
Yeah.
Where are those at each year? That's my point. He's good every year.
One elite year. That's fine. Let's say you had one elite year. Why is it not impressive?
Oh my God, it's been an hour already.
Why is it not impressive to be great for 10 plus seasons? Why is that not impressive? Why is that not Hall of Fame? It's
impressive. I never said it's not impressive.
Fucking phenomenal at your position. Maybe not the
phenomenal?
top 3 player in the league.
Is that what phenomenal is?
I think he if you do 10,000 yards
season,
again, put him in for longevity. I'm with you. Wash my hands. Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate.
Let's wipe off. Every year Emmett Smith didn't get 1,400 yards. Let's wipe that off of his resume and see where he's at.
Yeah, I bet his over 1,000 yards aren't 1,100 15 times or whatever it is.
Let's see what it is. See?
It's six times out of his 14 years he didn't make it to 1,100 yards. So I don't even want to hear it from you.
Isn't it 15 years too?
Smith, he had 9 years he didn't reach 1,100.
So 8 years.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He had 9 seasons he didn't hit 1,100.
Right. So is he?
Not saying I just want that on the record. Yeah.
He was an average running back for 9 fucking years.
And still had it. But those 1,100 yards, how many of them are 1,000? Because that's apparently the precipice we're all trying to break is 1,000.
Well, he had 7 seasons he missed 1,000. He was within
how many games?
1,000 and 1,200 yards all but 1 year.
At 1,000 yards. He had 9 seasons at 1,000 yards. How he missed 7?
Well, this is a benefit to him too. He missed 3, 5, 7, 9. He missed something like 12 or 13 games.
Buddy,
that's my point too. It's like I'm just waiting for it to be wowed. But that's fine.
Don't worry. He's going to be
put in the sod father too.
Hall of Famers could slap you in the face and you wouldn't fucking be wild. I don't.
Sod father's in. He did it for too long not to be.
It's all right. Browns and Raiders fans, you guys don't know what a Hall of Fame talent looks like. I understand the fight you're trying to battle here.
Oh, come on. The Raiders, I think, are like top 5 or 6 in Hall of Famers.
You haven't seen that name in your entire life.
That's fair.
That's
a phenomenal point, Steve, is that Wally must be the Hall of Fame guard, because if he's not, then all the Raider Hall of Famers just disappear into time as not being good.